feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you. Good to be back. How are you? On this Friday night, can you believe it? It's Friday night for you guys. Saturday afternoon here. I don't know how to explain that to you, except that there's time zones in the world, and apparently we're in different ones. That's all I can tell you. More information tonight. Every trial we seem to have a look at, the media behaves badly, including at the Kouri Richin's trial. We're going to talk about that. And we have some more information on Chris Bagzarian about what his final days in sort of captivity, being kidnapped, were like. It's really horrible to hear what he went through and some of the more details that happened. Hey, good to see you guys. Good to be here. Let's Linux says for Australian people old enough to remember the former Sullians actress. I don't know who Lorraine Bailey is. No idea who that is. I don't know who that is. All right. So we'll get to the Kouri Richins thing in a second. I just want to talk to you a bit about some of the more information that came out over the last 24 hours about 85-year-old Chris Bagzarian and some of the details that came out in the court filing for the two numbnuts that are now in jail. They were actually looking for Dmitry Stepanyan's father, Karo. So I don't know what he looks like, but I don't know if they just saw an old man and they're like, yeah, sure. They sort of look the same and decided that's who they were going to kidnap. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find a photo of the same guy, of who they were supposed to kidnap. No, I can't find one. Maybe it's this guy. I don't know. There's a guy with the same name on Facebook. I will show you the photo. I don't know if it's him though. But they don't really look the same. They don't really look like 85-year-old Chris Bagzarian. They don't look at all similar. Yeah. So they were looking for Dimitri's dad, who used to live in the same street or still does, but in a different home. And they ended up getting who we now know as Chris Bagzarian, this fellow here. Wish they had a better photo of him, but they do not. And after kidnapping him, forcing him out of his home in the middle of the night, they're saying here, early reports indicated that he was tortured before he died, but we sort of found out a bit more. It's now emerged that he had his finger cut off with a handsaw. They didn't even use like a bolt cutter or something like that. They used a handsaw while he was still alive. They said it's unclear if Mr. Bagzarian's finger was cut off before or after he died. I would suggest that the blood in the video might suggest that he was alive when it happened. Because in the video that came out, there was a pile of blood all over the floor. And normally, if you're dead and you cut off something like that, there will be some blood, but not like spurting, covering the floor type of thing. So that leads me to believe that it's possible he was alive when they cut off his finger. The other bit that it talks about here, it says that he was not alive for very long after they took him. They believe he was dead within 48 hours. Within 48 hours of him being taken from his home, they had killed him. if we do the timeline, so he was taken Friday, Saturday, by Sunday, at the end of the weekend, he was no longer alive. Now, these criminals who decided to abduct the wrong guy, they led police to them. Apparently, they burnt out a Toyota Corolla in Westmead, and inside of that, or next to it, was a discarded cigarette butt, which is what they did DNA testing on, and blood-stained carpet, which they tried to incinerate in the fire but were unable to. So they just left this groundbreaking evidence with the vehicle. Another bit of evidence that the cops used to track him down and find out who did it. And they're accused of killing him in that secluded Dural home and demanding a $50 million ransom while holding the wrong hostage. Yeah, not very clever. I don't know who they expected to pay the ransom of a guy that had no connection to their target. It's no wonder the target just sort of went, "What do you want me to do about it?" And they're saying here in a video, a man is seen holding a curtain over Mr. Bagzarian's face, asking, "What is Dimmy and Dom's numbers?" Referring to it's supposed to be the sons of their kidnapping victim, but they've got the wrong guy. Um, so he couldn't answer. He doesn't know them. So these guys have got him tied up, a piece of fabric covering his face. They are violently abusing this old man, demanding information that he doesn't have. He doesn't know who Dimmy and Dom are, nor would he know what their telephone numbers are. So they were literally, you know, they were trying to basically get blood out of a stone. There's no way he could hand over that information because he didn't know it. Yeah, really, this whole thing, and I think this is what makes it egregious. He didn't need to die. There was no need for him to die. When they realized their mistake, they should have let him go. The guy, whoever, I don't know who organized it or who posted the job on the dark web. I'm sure they will be arrested in due time. But that person is not going to pay you the $30,000 because you kidnapped the wrong guy. So, what exactly were you going to do? I want to know what these two numbnuts were thinking about. Because you have the wrong guy, you're torturing him, you're demanding information he can't give you, all because you're expecting a $30,000 payday from someone on the dark web. What? I mean, what do you think you're going to do? Go back to the guy who hired you and be like, "Yeah, we did it." And the guy's like, "Yeah, you got the wrong guy." And they're like, "Where's our $30,000?" And he's like, "What am I going to pay you $30,000 for to take the wrong guy and now have the cops all over me because you're dumb?" I just, yeah. Kelly said, "At what point did they realize he was the wrong guy?" Within hours. Within hours of taking Chris Bagzarian, they had contacted someone, someone within the family that they were targeting, and he told them that that's not my dad, and he has no connection to us. I don't know what you're talking about, and why would I pay anything? Here, I have the photos. Where is it? Yeah. So the green is I think it's suspected that this is one of the sons. I think it is the one that we've been hearing about. Yeah, which one is it? Let me go down here. Um, Not sure. I think it's Dimitri. Dimitri. So I think this is Dimitri talking to the kidnappers. And he's basically saying, dumb, dumb error. How did yous get the wrong house? God was with you. My old man would have blown your head off. Good luck next time, you effing dopes. And then something about pay your ground men and hotties. Better luck next time. F you. Three fingers up. And then at the end, um, the kidnappers are saying, so you don't want him back? Do I off him? Enough games. Do we off him and then move on? Or are you going to help? And then I can't read the other bit, it's cut off. But these dopes were basically demanding like demanding that Dimitri help them for a guy that has no relation to him. And these guys are all like, hey, give us our money or whatever. Like, it's the most ass backwards kidnapping I have ever seen. And to have, like, to keep going after you're basically being told you don't have the right person. So I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. It's really bizarre. Linux says, I put this crime in the same category as Anita Cobby and Janine Balding in the 80s. I mean, you have to put it in the highest category of crimes. When they go to court, you must. The guy had done nothing wrong. There is no connection to any underworld dealings. He didn't know why he was being kidnapped. Not that that would make it any better, but they basically just took a random guy all because they didn't do their homework. Um, yeah, I mean they will go to jail for a very long time. Chipmunk said, "I'd be thinking that's a prank." I think the guy they were messaging knows very well possibly what was going on. Kathy said, "Did he live alone?" I know he had a wife at some point, but I don't know if she was still alive or not. I have to think maybe no. I have to think maybe he lived alone. Let me have a look. I have a funny feeling his wife may have died a number of years ago. What is going on here? There we go. Yeah, I have a funny feeling he may have yeah, so he was a widower. So he had a wife, her name was Lillian, and and she died a number of years ago. I'm not sure how many, but yeah, he had a wife called Lillian. Yeah. Apparently, the Age has a better version of the text messages here. And they say, kidnap target's family, dumb dumb error. How'd you guys get the wrong house? You you effing dopes. And then what do they say here? So you don't want him back, do I off him? And they say, do we off him and move on, or are you going to help this old C word? And then the person they were supposed to get just is laughing. And then they say, needless say, all good. Remember this when you and your fam cop it. And then the guy says, get a lead on you. To get a lead on you, good luck. One of your team will give you up. And then he says, what else they say? Null, say sorry and hide harder. Shut up. And then he says, send it to a mutual, claim it. Till then, shut the F up. A lot of shut the F up. Basically telling him yeah, they got the wrong guy. So I don't, I don't know what this kidnapping people thought that they had anything over their actual target. It's almost like they thought just because they had somebody that they were going to comply. Obviously, that didn't happen, but it did cost the life of the 85-year-old man, unfortunately. I think it's a very interesting comparison to Nancy Guthrie. Betsy said, "Ping, why were they kidnapping the other guy anyway?" I'm not sure. They just said it's some sort of underworld um, issue. Like there's some sort of background there that they haven't made public. There's something going on there. They just haven't told what it is. Let's see. Linux said worse than The Sopranos. Well, I grew up in Melbourne. Well, didn't grow up here, but I've lived here for the last 20 years. And I can tell you, I lived in Melbourne when there were gangland killings down here. And very infrequently would they get the wrong person. Most of the time, they got the right person. And some of the killings down here were super public, really violent. One of them was two people they wanted to kill. They were at a child's, like a children football game on the weekend. Gunman ran up to the car, blasted through the windows, killing the two targets, and then the gunman ran off. And, things like that would happen quite frequently at the height of the gangland war in Melbourne. It has calmed down a little bit here now. It's not like that anymore. And I've told you guys the story that when I used to live on the other side of the city, I witnessed I witnessed a gunman ran up to his car, fired through the window, tried to kill him. That guy drove down the street right in front of me and then pulled into the police station and then collapsed on the horn. And all these police came running out to see, like, what's all this noise at like 1 a.m. And he had like gunshot wounds and he had been shot multiple times. He survived, though. He survived. He did not die that night. Don't know how, but he survived. So, yeah, this one with Chris Bagzarian, very amateur. Not doesn't seem very professional. Gayla said, "Was it in Melbourne where you seen the shooting?" It was in Melbourne. Here, I can show you. Let me see if I can find it. I know I was able to find it a number of years ago. Um, Let me see if I can find the old one. Yes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I'd have to go digging again. It was a very, very old media story from like 2006 or something. Yeah, let's keep looking. Hmm. Nope, that was the one in Brighton. I don't think I can find it, unfortunately. I know I've shown it on the show before when I could find it. Let's see. Minipon's shooting. Here we go. I found it. This is the one that I witnessed. Melbourne police are appealing for witnesses to a shooting in Moonee Ponds early this morning. That's funny that they were appealing for witnesses. I saw it happen, and I saw exactly what happened. Like when the gun went off, and then when he drove the car. But the cops told me and my girlfriend at the time to go home. They were just like, "Hey, to go home, but don't go through." There was like a giant park next to the police station, and they just said, "Hey," well, they asked where I live. I sit on the other side of the park. They said, "Don't go through the park. Keep to the well lit areas on the sidewalk and go home." They never contacted us um, for a witness statement or anything. But they're saying police are appealing for witnesses to a shooting in Moonee Ponds earlier this morning. 32-year-old man drove to Moonee Ponds police station about 1:30 a.m. in the morning and told officers he had been shot by a stranger through the passenger side window of his car as it was parked on the Strand. He said the gunman ran from the scene towards Alexander Parade, and they said the man's injuries could have been a lot worse. They said one would say he was quite a lucky man. He received one gunshot wound to the chest and one to the upper arm. So yeah, Ping actually witnessed this back in 2005, and it was pretty scary. But they weren't shooting at me, so. But, that see, they were more direct in Melbourne. They like the whole run up to the car and shoot the person instead of kidnapping them. They would just try and shoot them. So, Gail said maybe they lost your details, so wanted you to call in. I don't know why we never did. I can't remember why. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure why we never did at the time. Probably because I was young and stupid and not as good of a community-minded person than I am now. I was probably like, "Nah, I'm not gonna call him." But yeah, pretty freaky. But yeah, when we're talking about Chris Bagzarian and they kidnap this man from his bed, they get the wrong guy. Now he's no longer alive, and they dumped his body in a very humiliating fashion, naked on the side of a dirt road in the middle of, northwestern Sydney. It's a very, you know, stripping his dignity in death for a man that had no reason to be kidnapped. So, a awful ending. At least two of these people are in jail now. They are now hunting who might have paid for the hit, who might have organized it, and these are the people that they are trying to track down now. But the people who committed it, at least two of them are now in jail. So, an ending to that one. An ending to that one. Um, Gail said they shot at him. He jumped out of the car and they chased him. Who's this? Like the one at the garage a little while ago. Oh, that one. That was in Sydney. That one was in Sydney. That one was pretty crazy. That one where they did it at the service, like a what you guys would call a gas station. We played the video back on this channel. I think it was like a year ago. Here you go. I got a screenshot of it. Yeah, they actually like pulled up, I think behind this car. They came out wearing these black ponchos and tried to kill the guy on the right side of the photo, but he got out of the car and ran away. I can't remember if he died or not. I can't remember if they actually ended up shooting him or I can't remember. Here's the video. Oh, that didn't work, did it? There you go. Came up with a high power that somehow that guy got out of that car. He's so lucky he didn't get like, look how much they're firing. He is shot though, you can tell. If we go back, I think it looked like he had blood on his back. But yeah, this one was really violent. Really violent. I don't know how he got out of that car. He was a very lucky man that day that somehow I think we learned that the gun jammed. I think if I remember correctly, that the first guy that comes up to the car, you can't see him. He's on the far left here. He came up to the car. I think he got one shot off, and then the gun jammed. And it wasn't until that second guy came to the window. And if we look at the photo, by the time the second guy got there, he's already on the other side of the car, ready to get out the passenger side of the vehicle. I think that's what happened in the end. Oh, you guys can't see it? Good work, Ping. Good work. Here you go. This was it here, and I'll go through it again. So they run up to that car and they fired through it. Then that guy somehow got out, and then the car ran in. The car kept going and ran into the petrol station. But here, this is what I was saying before. Back here, when the first guy runs up to the car, the guy you can see at the top of the screen, that's the second guy. There's actually someone at the side of the vehicle already. His gun jammed, and it wasn't until that second guy got there and started firing. But by the time he was there, the guy in the car was already halfway on the other side of the vehicle, and he was able to get out. I think that is probably what saved his life, was the fact that that gun jammed. If that gun did not jam up, he probably would have been dead. They probably would have been able to kill him. But that split second of time allowed him to get on the other side of that vehicle, out the door, and gone. It's very lucky that guy had someone looking out for him that day. Chipmunk said garbage bag cosplay. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Them wearing ponchos, ponchos at a crime scene. It's an interesting choice. They kind of look like some sort of comedy troupe. They look like some sort of comedy troupe doing something about disposable plastic or something. Um, yeah, this is a guy. They did end up getting him. I thought, did he not live? Confronting CCTV vision has captured the moment a criminal identity was gunned down. They did end up getting him. The two cloaked gunmen opened fire, and his name is Nidal, and at a BP station in inner city Sydney in Surrey Hills. They did end up getting him. That's I thought he got away because he was able to run, as you can see in that photo, but I think they continued on and ended up getting him. Oh well, I mean, yeah, you get some, you win some, you lose some. Kathy said because ponchos are so macho. I don't know if ponchos are macho. Chipmunk said, "What fear? How horrible." Kim says, "Not fast enough. Not faster than a bullet. No, bullets go faster than humans, apparently." Hey Joe, what's up, brother? Good to see you. So yeah, Sydney, Melbourne, all have their share of problems of underworld, gangland type murders, and unfortunately, Mr. Bagzarian got caught up in it, and through no fault of his own, he has become a victim of a gangland war. So definitely some sort of underworld discrepancy between the two sides, and because they hired numbnuts to do a very serious job, this man, 85 years old, lost his life. Not the end of the story I think any of us wanted. So I keep asking the question, how does this relate to Nancy Guthrie? These kidnappers had the 85-year-old man for 48 hours and killed him. I've got to ask. It's been over. This is the fourth week for Nancy Guthrie. We have no information that she is alive. No video, no photos have been sent to the family. And you got to just ask, is she out there somewhere? I got to think that the chances of her actually being alive have to be minuscule, have to be tiny, absolutely fragments of hope. Not after 4 weeks. Not after 4 weeks. They had this guy for a weekend and they already killed him. Um, Yeah, I gotta think that it's not likely. Let's see. Two Monk said, I don't think she's alive. I still think within 3 months we'll know more. Maybe it's going to be like the sheriff said. It's going to take months or years to actually fix all this and find out who did it, why they did it, where they put her, and get somebody to be held accountable. Kelly says law enforcement isn't acting like she's out there alive. They haven't from day one. They sort of did for the first 12 hours, and then after that, they just gave up. There was no more urgency. No more urgency as if someone was alive out there. It was just sort of like, yeah, we're looking for her. If we find her, we find her. It wasn't like hundreds of agents scouring the countryside, kicking down doors, looking for her. It was a very slow, gradual march through the last 4 weeks, and so far they've come up empty-handed. I mean, they've had a few bits of evidence, but nothing that has led them to Nancy Guthrie. It's been pretty sad. Linux said, evidently there are thousands of hours of footage with Nancy Guthrie's case to look through. Might take the rest of the year at least. It could be. What's up, Joe? Joe says, I covered two missing person cases in Pima County last year between LV Lori Vallow's trials. Both are still unsolved. Holly Dasso is considered closed by the sheriff, and Patricia Wu is not. I know the Patricia one. I think we did that one as well. I don't know the Holly one. I don't know the Holly one. Um, Yeah, it is very much like just see what happens. That's almost like their attitude to it all. All right. So, Kouri Richin's trial, very eventful. Today was actually eventful. The day before, we had no trial. It was just like, did you guys all come today expecting to actually get some trial in on the day on Wednesday? Did you guys think you'd actually get some stuff done? They just came in for like 20 minutes, and they're like, the judge was like, oh, I've got something else I have to go do. I'm done. We're going to come back tomorrow. Unfortunately, it does happen in trials. Even in the Aaron Patterson trial, we had days where we'd head in expecting to do like, 20, 30 things that they had laid out the day before. And then they'd just be like, something came up. We will be back on the day after. It unfortunately it just happens with courts, and it could have been that the judge had a prior commitment. It could have been that an emergency hearing came up and he had to attend to it, and it took priority over a trial. Like it could have been something that was life and death. So we got no trial on that day, and then it came back today, and we had two interesting things happen along with all the evidence. One, somebody somebody in their bright mind, you know, I can tell you that my experience in the courts and dealing with the court staff and things like that, even if you're not considered media like I am, they are very strict in the courtroom. They are strict outside of the courtroom. They are strict about anything about the trial. Somebody decided in their infinite wisdom to sketch jury members. So they were sitting in the gallery, and they went, you know what I'm going to do? I am not going to take notes today. Notes are boring. Written word, boring. I'm going to sketch a jury member. Um, I have never heard of something so insane. You are told without any uncertainty that you cannot identify, you cannot take a photo, you cannot You cannot get a stone tablet and chip away at it like you're in the Bible and write down or identify a jury member. So just sit there with a piece of paper and an artist's pad and start looking at a jury member and sketching them is one of the most insane things I've ever heard. It is just so against all the norms of being in a courtroom. You shouldn't even look at the jury. Like when I'm in the courtroom, I don't even look at them. I'm just like, I just pretend like they don't exist. I'm like, those people over there, I don't want to know anything about them because I don't want to get in trouble. Joe said, I heard a rumor about the juror sketcher, about who the juror sketcher was. It is rumored to be somebody that I met in Phoenix at LVD. Really? That is interesting. Gail said, if you know nothing about court, it's actually common sense to not identify the jury. Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to be associated with the court. You could just watch Law and Order and you'd know. Chimong says, adult coloring books should be an option. What, to entertain people who get bored at trial? Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, let me take you to it. It's really, I can't believe someone had the absolute gall to do that. Yeah, let me see. So that person got booted out. They are not able to return. They have now been banned from returning. I'm not sure if they're banned from returning to the courthouse as a whole or just to that trial. I suspect it might be from the courthouse altogether. Um, I just Yeah, is it this one here? Yeah. I'm going to take you to ABC 4 in Utah.
Begin with a courtroom disturbance during the trial of Kouri Richins today. A judge addressed a safety concern and actually removed someone from the courtroom. Our Mackenzie Diaz joins us live from the courthouse tonight to explain just what happened inside the courtroom today, Mackenzie.
And Brian, this happened towards the end of today's session. Members of the audience were sketching members of the jury, and legal experts say this is a huge safety risk. Thursday afternoon, Kouri Richin's judge Richard Mrazek had one more announcement to make before the end of the session.
A juror passed a note to one of the bailiffs that read, quote, "Judge, are there members of the audience in the courtroom that are sketching members of the jury?"
Court officials say someone in the audience was sketching jurors, labeling the drawings by jury numbers.
That sketchbook was confiscated. The sketches of the jurors were removed from the sketchbook. That person has been removed as a spectator, will not be allowed back in.
Utah attorney Clayton Sims, who's not involved in the case, reminds us that courtrooms are open to the public. People can observe and take notes, but they can't identify jurors. Sims says protecting juror identity is essential to a fair trial.
We want them to feel comfortable, to feel safe,
I think the detail. Imagine not only sketching a jury member, but putting their juror number on the sketch, so you can identify them fully later. It is not the most clever thing I've ever heard of, and you can't do that. Like, you can't do that. It could have been open for a mistrial doing something like that. It's really serious, and it allows those jury members, especially in high profile cases like Kouri Richins, right? How did she allegedly kill her husband? She overdosed him, right? Allegedly. The jury might be concerned that she could get a third party after the trial, if convicted, to poison them somehow. It's I feel sorry for the jury. That must have been very stressful for them. The other issue is, why did it take a jury member to write a note? Normally, the bailiff so not even the bailiff. Sometimes the court has their own staff. Like the judge might have an associate, and they normally are looking in the courtroom all day, seeing if people are paying attention, if people are, maybe doing the wrong thing with their phone, that type of thing. I find it interesting that it had to come from a jury member, and they didn't get picked up by someone else. Linux says, I don't know in Australian courts if public gallery are even allowed to take notes. I need to check. Linux, I can tell you that they can. So you don't need any special permission to write notes or whatever. There was multiple people that were doing that at the Aaron Patterson trial. There were multiple people who were not associated with the media who were taking their own notes, had a notebook, were writing. Um, in the Lachlan Young trial, there were multiple people who were writing and taking notes who were not associated with the court through their media team. It happens quite frequently. That's not really a problem. At least in Australia, the courts are the courts and the justices like what they call open courts, and open courts allows things like the public, live streams sometimes, things that open the court up and stop it from being such, behind closed doors and mystique behind it. They want more of an open court where the public are more educated on what happens, the information gets out to the wider public. So, no, like you can do that. It's not a problem. You still have to abide by the rules of the court, and if the justice tells you anything, you have to follow that order, and that can be for media and or anyone in the gallery. So you have to. There's also things you have to know. Entering a courtroom, you're supposed to bow to the judge or justice, and on leaving, you are supposed to bow too. There is sort of like etiquette things that you're supposed to know about as well. Linux said, I had a family member who was an expert witness in a court case in 2018. It was televised on WA Supreme Court website because room was too small for all parties to be in. Mm. Which is why a lot of people were upset about the Patterson trial, because that courtroom in Morwell was so small. I think it could only hold like 40 people or something in it, and it had to hold family members that wanted to attend. They had to sit in the gallery. It had to so family members got first choice. Every morning the family got to be the first ones allowed in, and they got seated in the courtroom before everyone else. Well, not not long before everyone else, but they sort of were allowed in first and were allowed to get some seating. The second after that were members of the general public. They were the next ones allowed to get a seat. The very last people on the list were media members. And that is because we had our own room. So we didn't need to be in the courtroom as such. We had our own room where we could watch the trial, and we had seats and plenty of everyone for everyone. There was seats and power, and we could watch the thing, and we had a media minder. So we had our own thing. That's why the media was not given any priority in that particular case, because we didn't need it. But there were seven or eight seats that were assigned and balloted to the media. So I think it was each week. Each week you could put your name in, and they drew names for the week. And if it was you, you got a special badge, and you got to go sit in the courtroom. So yeah, anyway, that's sort of how it works down here. Chipmunk said, I got bad grades in art class. I tried to draw it, just never clicked. I could easily do that piece. I can't draw anything. I can draw stick figures, and that's about it. Gayla said, a jury can be sat at a cinema in Edinburgh. Watch it on the big screen so you don't need to be in the courtroom. What? What? A jury can be sat at a cinema. What? Hold on. Oh, okay. Okay. Apparently they're not doing it anymore. I think it must have been for the pandemic. It says here that they had remote jury centers during the pandemic. Interesting. I'd never heard of this. Yeah. Juries have been accommodated at cinema venues since 2020 as a means of keeping solemn trials operating during the COVID-19 restrictions. And these have eased rates of infection and things like that. But they're saying it would be decommissioned over the summer months, with jurors returning to court buildings between July and September of 2022. So it sounds like they are not doing it anymore, and that it was only for the pandemic. You got a letter last year? Okay. It says they were supposed to wind it down. This is from the Law Society of Scotland. Okay. I don't know why they would. Sounds like they were maybe because did you get it in winter? Maybe because it was winter and the rates of infection or something had gone up. Maybe they temporarily brought it back during the cold period. Um, Interesting. I'd never heard of a jury being in a cinema. That's an interesting idea. I guess it's I guess because the cinema is so large, you could have 12 people on a jury, like really spread out. They could be like 10 seats, or they could have a row each for each 12 members of the jury, and they would be nowhere near each other. Interesting. Hey, Max, how are you, buddy? It's Max on Dad's account. Are you still doing things about Mum? Yeah, we just did one last week. Buddy, how are you? Good to see you. How's high school? I hope high school's doing well. I hope you're having a good time. This would be you would have just done your first month of high school, right, buddy? I hope you're doing all right. Yeah, we just did a thing about your mum the other day, that your sister Montana had just spoken to someone I know. It's a reporter for the Daily Mail, speaking about your mum owning some opal, and that your mum had put it on Facebook for sale shortly before she went missing. And that particular reporter was asking about it. I asked her. I said I would ask you if I saw you. All right, I will. I'll send it to you. Um, Max, while you're here, do you know anything about the opal that your mum put on Facebook, or you're not allowed to talk about the case right now? If you're not allowed to talk about it, it's okay. You can just say I'm not allowed to talk about it. But if you do know, I'd be interested in knowing. But yeah, tell us how you've been. Tell us how high school is. Tell us how your classes are going too. D It wasn't my mum's opals, it was dad's opals. Okay, alright, so it was, dad asked your mum to sell them. Okay. How's everyone? Guys doing alright? I don't think I've heard much new about your mum recently, Max. Yeah, let's have a look. Let me have a look. It looks like a few days ago, they went back to Endamuka and did a new search in the town. I didn't know that, actually. Let's have a look. It's like 3 days ago. Let me see if I can find it. Four days ago. Search. It's weird, it's not coming up, but I can see that they did do one. Police returned to Endamuka. Oh, here. From Sapol. Let's have a look. This was Feb 23, so about 5 days ago, so it would have been Monday. Yeah, Monday. It says police have concluded for today, Monday, February 23, searching a residential property at Endamuka for evidence in the disappearance of Trisha Graff. I'm guessing was that your house, Max? I'm guessing. After leaving the hotel, yep, we know that. Okay. They're saying here that the search was suspended for Tuesday, 24th of Feb due to severe weather in the region. And it has. The weather in South Australia and Victoria has been deteriorating for the rest of the week. I know that Vic and SA are really bad right now. We're actually going through like a big rain event. Here, I'll show you guys what I mean. There's like a really bad rain event happening here. Here. So this has sort of been, oh, come on. All this rain, this has been sort of coming over to the region and it's very slow moving and it's been downpouring. You can see it's all being brought down into Victoria right now. These new radars that they've put up are terrible. But you can see it's all being dragged down into the south right now. But it's been heading over that region, not too far from Endamuka and some other places as well. It's just been really relentless over the last week, and now it's going to move into Victoria over the weekend. So I can understand why. There's Roxbury Downs right there. Why the search was suspended for a little while because the weather's just gone really crap. Okay. Oh, really? I'll have to have a look, Peachy. Where's Max? All right, buddy. Okay. All right, mate. I'll send you an email with the link to the show for you. All right. Yeah, all right. We will, mate. All right. Don't get in trouble for being here. I don't want you getting in trouble with anyone, like anyone else, any of your family or anything. Max says everyone spread the word about mum. We will. We all we want is for your mum to come home. That's it. That's all we want. We want your mum to come home, and we can figure out the rest of it later. Like that's the main priority is your mum. That's it. Spread the word about my mom. Everyone thinks my dad's a bad person. He's the best father ever. I just want everyone to know to spread the word about mom. All right. We will. We will keep talking about your mom, okay? We will keep doing that. Let me just check. I haven't been able to see the chat. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Max, keep safe. We will try and find out. We'll keep doing stuff about your mum. I've been talking with a journalist who's been doing some stories on your mum too, and she's quite interested in keeping your mum's story alive. She wants to keep doing content on your mum too. So I think you have multiple people who are interested in making sure that your mum's name stays in the media. So, all right, we'll keep going. But Max, you have my email. Should you ever need to reach out, should you need help with anything, you have my contact details. And have fun. Have fun at high school. Enjoy the time. Meet some other friends. Cherie Childers said, "Who is mum?" All right. Well, since Max came in, we'll go back. We'll go back. So let me take you back to Trisha Graff is his mum. Trisha Graff went missing in early December of last year. So what is it now? It's like like almost wait, 1, 2, it's like 3 months ago. and she's been missing for quite a long period of time, and they would like to have her or anyone who knows any information about what happened to her on that night. I'm pretty sure it's December 12th. December 12th, 2025 was the last time she was seen by anyone. And since that time, they have not been able to locate her at all. So let me play. I'm not going to play this entire thing, but I will play just a little bit from South Australian Police, just for people who don't know what we're talking about.
Trisha Graff, 41 years old, of Andamuka, had failed to return home after a night out with friends. She was reported missing at about that time to the Roxby Downs police station by a family member. Trisha was last seen between around 1:50 a.m. and 2 a.m. on the 12th of December on Dunstan Drive at Andamuka after leaving a female friend's address in her vehicle, which was a white Ford Territory sedan registered S for Sierra 254BCX. Around midday on Friday, the 12th of December, Trisha's partner and a friend of his was out searching for Trisha, and they located her vehicle positioned on a mound or a rise near Blue Dam, about 4 kilometres to the eastern side of the Andamuka township. Police, since that time, police and other resources have conducted an extensive search of the area on foot. The dam has been searched by police divers. Polair has been involved in aerial searching, and we've also utilised the capability of specialised drone equipment to assist with the search. These searches have failed to locate any remains or any trace of Trisha, and we've only recently, in the last day or two, been able to finalise the analysis of the specialised drone.
You know what's interesting? They talk about a specialized drone. I wonder if that is the same AI technology that they used um, for the little boy that was missing in South Australia too. I got something about the guy in the UK who got bashed in jail and is dead. I got that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Kim said Gus. Yeah, I wonder if they use the same, because he talks about this drone technology and that they had gone through all the data from it. I wonder if they use that same high-tech AI software and camera to look for Trisha Graff. That'd be cool if they did, because that thing is super powerful. I want to look up, since we changed topics now, we'll go back to Kouri Richins in a minute. I want to see that video for the search for this week. It's really strange. I can't find. Yeah, it has to be in the last week. It's like they only put the video out on Facebook. Yeah, I'll take you to it. It's very, very short video.
A huge search has resumed in Andamuka for missing outback woman Trisha Graff. Extensive investigations have so far failed to find the 41-year-old who was last seen in the opal mining town more than 2 months ago. Her stranded Ford Territory was found at Blue Dam, east of Andamuka. Major Crime, Star Group and local police, along with SES volunteers, are scouring a residential property and nearby mine shafts. A huge search has resumed in Andamuka.
Very quick update, and they didn't tell us what residential property. I would suspect it's a family home, but I don't know that for sure. I'm pretty sure Max told us that they had already been there once before. Maybe they went back to the family home for some reason. I don't know. Or it could have been the friend's property, because that is where she went after coming back from Roxbury Downs. I don't know. But that's the only update about the search that happened on Monday. It seems like it was supposed to be a longer search throughout the week, but the weather cut it short. So they only searched on Monday and then suspended it. We'll have to wait and see if they do it again. Her missing is so suspicious. Well, the authorities have declared it a major crime, and they're saying that it is suspicious. So you're right. What actually happened to her? I don't know, but we'll keep on it. We'll keep on it. It was nice to hear from Max. It was nice to hear from Max. I was hoping we might run into him again and hope that high school is going okay for him. Hope he's doing all right. Cherie said, so very sad on how many people go missing and never found. That is very true. Too many people go missing and it's like they disappear into thin air. All right, let's go back to Kouri Richins. We got a bit sidetracked, but I want to keep talking about the jury and what happened there. So let's go back. Here we go. Let's watch the end of the video.
I feel that they're basing their verdict 100% on the evidence. Their identity can be determined through a sketchbook, and you worry if that person is going to publish it on the internet, and is that person going to be known?
And jurors cannot be filmed or sketched for privacy reasons. Bailiff oversees courtroom security. Sims says in this situation, the bailiffs are primarily focused on the defendant and those speaking.
Is the defendant a threat? Are there any other threats to the courtroom?
So now the big question, will this affect the trial? While it stirred up quite a commotion in the courtroom, Sims says it likely won't impact the trial. Reporting in Park City, Mackenzie Diaz, ABC 4 News.
That's not the only thing that happened, though. Today, the live stream got cut short because the people controlling the camera, who I believe are Court TV, were I believe they were told that a specific witness was not supposed to be filmed, and they live streamed the identity of this undercover cop. He's a cop who does drug busts and does sting operations, and they did not want his identity being filmed, and they aired it for a good, I don't know, a good number of minutes online, and then they had to cut that live stream, and it was off for at least a witness or two before they got it back up and running. But it sort of put a bit of a dampener on today's trial, unfortunately. Kim said, taking video of the undercover cop, right? You think that's a big no-no? Media behaving badly. It's not the only time we've had. If you guys remember, there was a trial a while ago. I can't remember which one, if it was Laurie or a different one. There was a trial where they filmed the entire jury coming into the courtroom on that day. I can't remember whose trial that was. Whether it was the one where the mum killed her child in Carolina, or no, Tennessee, or it was Laurie. I can't remember which one it was, but not the first time that a jury or a witness who's not supposed to be filmed has been filmed. So been a bit of a rocky day, bit of a rocky day or two for the Kouri Richins trial. Joe said there's such a nexus crossover to figure out between social media and legacy media and how these trials and cases are navigated. Yeah, COD TV calls the stream to be terminated by the judge. I know in other trials, so when they allow a camera and it's an sometimes it has to be a court camera, like their own camera. Sometimes they allow a media camera like Court TV. It depends what judge and how they want to do it. But I know in some trials, they literally have a court associate watching the live stream, and if they screw up, they just hit a button and it shuts down the live stream, and they run it with a delay, like a 1 minute delay, something like that. And they have a button that they can press to kill the live stream. So interesting that that didn't happen here. That might have saved the identity of that cop if they had run something like a delay with a kill switch. It may have saved his identity. It was Court TV showed a juror. No, Karen Reed. Was it the Karen Reed one that did that? No, it's not the one I'm thinking of. Not Richard Allen. But anyway, it's happened a few times. A few times the cameras have shown things that they shouldn't. I was watching a trial last year, and the camera was just off on the wrong angle by like millimeters. And in the top corner of the screen, you could actually see the heads of the jury come through. And that one had to be killed off as well and deleted. So, not that it should happen, not that it shouldn't happen. It should never happen, really. But sometimes with technology and cameras, bad things happen. So the media behaving badly today, apparently. Warner Steele said someone called for a mistrial also. I don't know who. They won't get it. They won't get it. There's not a chance they're going to get it. Um, it's it's pretty common for the defense, or normally it's going to be coming from the defense. The prosecution wants the case to go through and get a verdict. They don't want a mistrial. So most likely it would come from the defense. They're not going to get it. There's not a chance. Thank you. I had a feeling because I said Tennessee. Yes, it was Megan Boswell. Her grandmother had just gotten off the stand, and the camera caught a few jury members filing in, following her, filming, whatever. Yes, they came in. You're right. That's the one I was thinking of. Megan Boswell. Yeah, that was not a great day for that one. Warner still said no way there won't be. No, there's not going to be a mistrial. I've seen so many defense attorneys call for a mistrial like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into a trial. They are almost it has to be something so egregious that it's so prejudicial to the trial, to the accused, that there's no way forward. It has to be something so out of line that there's no possible way that you can get a fair verdict. And yeah, just not going to happen. He said, no, yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think it would go through. It has to be something literally that's so unheard of. It would impact every jury member and change like their verdict, change their mind on it's it's a pretty high bar to reach, and it has to be something even repetitive. So like say if you got various warnings throughout the trial about X, Y, and Z, and then that continued on, that might be able to get a mistrial. But this one here, nah, not a chance. Let me see if I can find that I'm just trying to see if I can find that quote for that. I can't, but I believe you. I can't, but I do believe you. So yeah, pretty weird couple of days for that trial. I'm not going to go into all the details from each day. There are plenty of other channels that do that while the trial is live throughout the day. I'm not going to go through the entire day with you. Kathy said, I figured jury members weren't allowed to have their phones. No, they're not. They're not allowed to have their phones. They're normally taken when they come in the morning. They'll come in. If they're not sequestered, they'll come in the morning. They get spoken to by a court clerk or whoever's minding them, and then they are asked to hand in their phones at the start of the day. And then when they're most times, I don't. Some courts take them for the whole thing, but most of the time when they're not sequestered, they just get taken in the morning and given back at the end of the day. So yeah, they're not allowed to have their phones most of the time. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a mistrial. Good. We need less people trying to game the system, and we need more verdicts. The other thing that I saw brought up is a lot of people don't like Kouri Richin's lawyer, and I gotta agree. I was reading some comments on the Facebook group. There's a Facebook group for the Kouri Richins trial, and I was reading some of the comments in there today. And after my viewing of each day's trial coverage, I got to agree. I wonder what is going on there. It's I don't want to be mean to her, but it's almost like she's never done a trial before. It's really weird. Hold on. I just want to make sure I got the correct details. Hold on. Is it Catherine? Is that the lady with the blonde hair? Good work, Ping. Yes, Catherine, sorry. She's got a team and I always get confused about who's who. Nesta Lewis is the Nesta Lewis, and then she's got Catherine, Kathy, Nesta, and Wendy Lewis. Catherine, it's this lady. Yeah, I'll put her up on your screen. You know who it is if you've been watching the trial. This lady here. She concerns me. Every time I watch her, it's almost like, yeah, she's never done a trial before. The amount of time she gets told off by the judge, and he tells her, like, "You can't go down that road." So she's like, "Okay, I get it. I can't go down that road." And then she'll go to reformulate her question, and then she'll say the exact same thing just with different words, and the judge is like, "No, I just said you can't go down that road." It's concerning, very concerning. Yes, we talked about that before. We talked about that before. Warner still said, accepting Karen Reed's first trial, Bev got mad and called a mistrial because I don't know. I didn't watch the Karen Reed trial. No idea. Chipmunk said the judge is so nice but firm. There's a lot of people who reckon he's not doing a good enough job. Lewis is the one I mean? Oh. Oh, okay. Nesta Lewis. Sorry. Yeah, so told you guys I get confused with the names. Yes, here we go. Yes, this lady here. She drives me crazy. I can't watch the trial coverage half the time because I feel like it's almost deliberate. You know, there's some people who go through these trials, and I was wondering if this is what was going to happen with the Patterson trial, that they were gonna leave, like, a whole bunch of legal tactic and things. Oh, I'll get it back in a minute, hold on. There's a whole bunch of legal tactics that they use throughout the trial that they don't put in, and then I feel like they save it for, "Oh, we're just gonna go try get a second trial. Oh, we're just gonna try appeal at the end." So it's almost like the first one is where they, like, make all their mistakes and they don't, you know, I hate to use the word try hard enough, but I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it's almost deliberate. Like yeah, like it's almost like they know they're going to get another shot at some point. Um, at least that's what I think. I don't know what you guys think, but it almost comes across as deliberate. Deliberate's the word I'm going to use. All right. I can't find another photo for the other lady, so I'm just going to leave it. You guys are going to have to just understand what I'm. Lewis is the one who got admonished over and over again. Okay. Sherry said, "Isn't she covering Tyler Robinson too?" I think so. I think so. All right. Yeah. Let me try and get the correct person. Ping's photos are not that good. All right. Here. I give up. I give up. It's not. What is going on with my? It keeps wanting to give me that photo. All right, I don't know, guys. It's not. It doesn't want to. It doesn't want to give me the correct photos for it. Anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. It's fine. You guys know who I'm talking about. Woman of Steel said Lewis was so rude and nasty to Carmen. I mean, yes, but I think you're going to get that from a defense anyway. You're always going to get a bit of snarkiness towards different witnesses and even expert testimony. If they bring in like a tech expert or something like that, you're probably going to get a bit of bitiness from the defense because like they want to like cut them down a little bit. They want to make them seem not as effective as they normally are. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh my god. Oh, hey, cat. Oh my god. Silly cat. Did you guys know what he just did? He just jumped from the floor onto my nuts and landed with his paws flat straight in the middle of my lap and was like, "Aren't I cute, Dad? Can't I stay here?" No, not after you almost like, you know, do that to me. Chipmunk says, "I feel bad for Carmen. She was doing so good, and she was poking at her intellect, which she was fine. I get why. Yeah, they like to poke so many. Yes. The mental health question and the learning disability. That's a little crawl. Yes, that's what he did. Naughty cat. He was just like, oh, he came out of nowhere. He's got a little bed over here now that we gave to him so that he has somewhere so he doesn't annoy the crap out of me while I'm trying to work. So he's got a little bed over here now, and that's where he sleeps. He decided to get up out of nowhere and jump into my lap with no warning. No warning. Just paws to the nutsack. That's what he did. Naughty cat. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So we did the jury safety issue. I agree. I think hopefully that person is truly banned. I heard they were banned from the entire place, but I don't know. Someone else said that they are only banned from this particular courtroom. I would have hoped that if you show that you can't follow the rules of the court at all, that you shouldn't be allowed back ever to a live court. You can come back if you're charged with something, but I don't think you should be allowed back to sit in the gallery of any trial at all. All right, here, I'll take you over to the quick update for today because I don't want to do 8 hours of trial with you.
Well, welcome to ABC4 News at 5, everyone. I'm Brian McElhatton.
And I'm Sarah Murphy. Glad to have you here with us on your Friday night. There's been a packed house in the courtroom for day 5 of the Kouri Richins trial. The prosecution called the drug dealer to the stand, who they say sold the fentanyl that killed Eric Richins.
But the testimony may not have gone the way prosecutors wanted. Jordan Tracy's live in Park City for us with more on what happened in the courtroom today, Jordan.
O'Brien and Sarah, Robert Crozier was another witness in court today that had a hard time remembering what he told investigators back in 2023 and honestly what happened back in 2022. Now, throughout court and in testimony, Carmen Lauber has said that she bought drugs from Robert Crozier at least twice, but he's now saying he doesn't even remember the second time. He remembers one time, maybe a second. That's important because that second time is when Lauber and the prosecutors are saying fentanyl was bought for Kouri Richins. Even more here, Crozier insists he didn't even deal in fentanyl before 2023. That's the year after Eric Richins died. But
there was also a hoo-ha with that undercover detective or undercover officer saying that his identification of drugs. You guys have to let me know what you thought of that. I'm not sure. You know, he was saying things like he definitely knew that blueies were fentanyl, but some other things are harder to identify. I would have thought, considering that there's such an epidemic of fentanyl like throughout the United States, that most cops in their day-to-day work, that's the majority of what they would see, especially if you're dealing with like the streets and things like that. I would have thought maybe that's why he was able to talk about that, but not the other drugs. You guys have to let me know what you think. I don't know the area, whether it's as endemic as some other places that are just covered with those type of M30s or whatever that they get, those fake oxys. You guys have to let me know, but I thought it was interesting that he felt very confident in that, but anything else they asked him about, he was sort of like non-committal. Chipmunk says, glad it wasn't me. I thought there was only one blue pill. Yeah, don't get your blue pills confused. You'll have a weird night. You'll be like, I'm going to get ready to have some loving. I'm going to get, wait, maybe that's what happened to Kouri Richins. Maybe she's like, I need my husband. And then she, no, I don't think that's not a good defense. I don't think that would have worked. Chipmunk, see, you would not be a good defense lawyer. Linux said prosecution called a hostile witness that is lawyering 101 and they blew it. There you go. Cherie said, yeah, that they were called blues before fentanyl. Right. Interesting. Cherie said, I feel like I don't feel like even he knows what he sold. Wow. What is it? Lunesta? What is that? What is Lunesta? Lunesta. What is it? It's a non-benzodiazepine sedative hypnotic prescribed for short and long-term insomnia treatment, improves sleep onset and maintenance in adults. That's what I need. That's what Ping needs, because apparently it also is used to treat complex sleep behavior like sleepwalking or driving. I want to know more. One day we'll have to dive into the topic of people who can sleep drive. I want to know more about that, because is that a real thing that people can sleep drive? I'd love to know how that works and if they actually can, like, can they follow road rules? Can they follow a speed limit? Can they actually stop at a red light while they are sleep driving? I'd love to know about that. I want to know if anyone has ever been caught by a cop while proper sleep driving. Okay, I've never heard of Lunesta. Maybe it's an American like brand name for it. Gayla said, I wouldn't remember who bought drugs from me if I was a dealer. I would have thought that you would, if you were an actual, even low level street dealer, that you would sell so many, like, you know, hits or whatever every day that after a year, you probably wouldn't remember half the people you sold drugs to. Because, and if you use the drugs yourself, that would add to your, like, I don't know who I sold to a year ago. I don't know who I sold to a week ago. That's probably a fair point. Chipmunk said, but no one ever sleep exercises. That's true. No one's ever like, I have to go get my 10,000 steps in while I'm asleep. I want to know who does that. Cherie said, yeah, if he sold to so many people, you wouldn't remember every deal. He said it wasn't many people he sold to, but I don't believe that. I wonder if you're asking someone who deals, like, you're almost like, can you tell us how much money and how much tax you didn't pay on all the on all the drugs you sold? Can you tell us about the kilos of narcotics that you sold to people? Gayla said regulars, yes, but not someone I sold to twice. It's an interesting like mental dilemma to try and figure out. sleep eating is a thing? I don't think so. I think that's just what some people tell themselves when they get up at midnight and eat a tub of ice cream. They're like, "Oh, that was my sleep eating again. Got to stop sleep eating. Keep waking up and eating a tub of Ben and Jerry's every night." Linux said needs to be an Olympic event, the sleep 100-meter race. I'd pay to watch that. I Hate Morning said it's a real thing. My husband hid the keys at night because I would sleep drive a few times per year. I want to know more about that. Can you actually go to work or something? Can you actually like follow if you're sleep driving, would you only drive to places that you had been before? Like, say if you had a routine, so every morning you got up, you had your breakfast, got ready for work, and left, and then went to work. Is that like more likely one of the places that you would go to because it is an ingrained routine in your mind? Or would you just drive to the local, you know, big box store hoping to buy a drill at 4 a.m. in the morning? Cherie said, "Do you feel like she's going to get off?" I think with the evidence that we've heard, the bits and pieces over the last few years, I feel like the first bit of this trial has been like a lot of trials. So you get your opening statement, and my experience with doing trials, is you sort of start off with fireworks. So every time you get like an opening, there's a lot of information in that opening that you've never heard before. So everyone gets all excited. There's details that things you've been waiting like 2, 3 years to know about. And then it sort of goes up. You get that opening statement, and it sort of comes back down with some of the witnesses and questioning. And I feel like a lot of trials follow that sort of roller coaster. And I feel like this one is going to do the same thing. And I feel this week has mostly been on the downward pitch. And I think as we go over the next two weeks or so, that evidence is going to start compiling and adding up. And you're going to get a picture here where they're really it's going to be, I think, so much evidence that there's going to be nowhere else to turn but a guilty verdict. I That's just my personal opinion. Chipmunk said it's those late night food commercials. Could be. Kim said my client's sleepwalking when he bought that saw. Yeah, I want to know someone who will put up a defense of if you can sleepwalk, sleep drive, can you sleep murder? Actually, there was a trial last year in Australia. A guy, let me remember. A guy, he brought a woman home to his house. I think it was a friend. And for some reason, they ended up in the same bed. And he had sex with her in his sleep. And the jury the judge, I don't think there was a jury. I think it was a judge-only trial. The judge accepted that reasoning due to medical evidence, and he got off. He actually did not get he was found not guilty due to medical condition. It was like a year ago. Yeah, man. There was a guy, yeah, sexsomnia. There was this guy last year, and he was found not guilty because the court reasoned that he had no intent because he was asleep and couldn't be aware of his own actions. Therefore, no crime could be committed. There you go. Man with sexsomnia not guilty of R-wording woman after judge warns jury. Oh, there was a jury. Yeah. they're saying the 40-year-old had a medical condition where people exhibit sexual behavior during sleep. There he is. That is the accused right there. And yeah, 7-day jury trial, and he got a not guilty verdict out of it. Even after the jury sent a bunch of questions to the judge, and this is what the judge said. We're not about to punish people for acts that they have no lawful control over. And then the jury asked, they asked something about a question, and the judge said, there are no current laws, rules, or regulations about having sexsomnia or doing something while having the medical condition. No laws exist about that. There are no criminal offenses about that in the law, and it's not for you to create the law. So he was, yeah. They basically said because he had no control over his actions during his sleep. I have never, I would have thought, I don't know. It's a weird one, but there you go. A guy found not guilty. The guy in America did not get off. Was there another one that was a guy that claimed the same defense? Let me see. Cherie said, I'm so intrigued to learn what evidence they have on Patrick Stevenson. I'm really looking forward to your coverage on this. Me too. I'm looking forward to heading back to trial. It makes it hard for me because a lot of the trials in America are on when I'm asleep. So a lot of the ones like Kouri Richin's trial, it starts, I think, at about 3 a.m. in the morning. It's impossible for me to wake up and just sit here and cover it with you all. I would have to get up at 3 a.m. every morning to do it, and even then, I'm not sure whether it would be worth or whether anyone would want it. So, because there's other channels that are doing it, and I was like, would there be any point? But I am looking forward to heading back to a Victorian trial and doing it for you guys. The only thing I hate about Australian trials is I can't sit there with a live stream and cover it with you guys and comment on it. It doesn't work that way here. We're not allowed to have live streams like America, which really sucks. It really sucks. Let's see. I'm trying to see what Kathy wants me to look at. Yes, I'm having a look. Oh, 1987, Kenneth Parks. Okay, let's have a look. I don't know that case. 1987. Okay, this is in Scarborough in Canada. Kenneth Parks walked into a local police station bleeding from severe cuts on his hands and confessed to murder. He claimed he was sleepwalking when he drove to his in-laws' home and stabbed them. So did he get found guilty? Let's have a look. He got acquitted. Parks claimed he had no memory of the events and was in a state of non-insane automatism. Interesting. In 1988, in 1988, an Ontario jury acquitted Parks of murder and attempted murder. In 1992, the Crown appealed, and they upheld the acquittal, establishing a legal precedent regarding sleepwalking as a valid defense for criminal acts in Canada. That's really interesting. I'd never heard about this particular case. In 1987. Wow, I really, but this is the thing though. He went to his in-laws' home and killed them, right? I could understand if you did something that was routine, like we were talking about before. So you got up, you got in the car, and you drove to work, or you drove to where you drop off your children in the morning. I could understand that and using that as a legal defense, like if a cop pulled you over and you were speeding or not wearing a seatbelt, and you'd be like, well, I was sleep driving. But how do you mentally connect to waking up, like doing sleepwalking, sleep driving, and then going to your in law's home and murdering them? Like, that's a lot of connected acts to do while not awake. I'm, hmm. It's interesting that he got away with that. Very interesting. I'd want to know more about like the relationship with the in-laws and whether there had been any falling out or whether they had a contentious relationship or something like that. Is there I don't think there's like a Canadian news station that we could check on. What about? I don't think there's one we can use because it is a historical case, unfortunately. Interesting. Thanks for telling me about it. I find that fascinating that he actually got acquitted on both charges. Yeah, it says here, when he opened his eyes, it was still dark outside, but Kenneth is standing in a different house. He has a knife in his hands, and his mother in law is dying in front of him. He had no memory of what has just occurred or how he traveled 14 miles from his home to the home of his parents in law. All he sees is blood on his clothes. In a state of shock, he flees and drives to the nearest police station, arrives and utters the chilling line, I think I have killed some people. Yeah, I find that fascinating that you could actually do all of those things, not just one, like sleepwalking. Okay, I get it. Sleepwalking and sleep driving. Okay. But like sleepwalking, sleep driving, parking the car, getting out, finding a knife, walking upstairs, killing two separate people. It's a interesting scenario. What? Oh, really? Israel has launched attack on Iran? All right, hold on. Let's go to the BBC. Let me get some live coverage for you. Just trying to find some live coverage from the news. Give me one sec. That's really bad. That's not a good thing. Um, oh, I can't seem to find any live news that it's doing it right now. No one's up? Like no one's on? In the distance. Times Now World. I'll go to the BBC News. Yeah, I'm going to take you here. They're saying sirens have sounded. I don't think that one was actually anything. Sirens have sounded across Israel. Sirens sounded across Israel at 8:15 a.m. local time, alerting people of the threat of a possible missile attack. The Israeli strikes happen amid diplomatic efforts between the US and Iranian officials for a deal to curb Iran's nuclear program and avert a war. And they're saying they're hearing explosions in the north and east of Tehran, according to Iranian media. And here's like, they have some photos. Looks like there's definitely some missiles that have gone off. Wow. There you go. Geez, that's not good. Yeah, let me see if I can. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, wow, there's some more. Let's have a look. There looks like definitely some missile strikes going off. Um, live on Mirror. Yeah, I saw that's the one we just had up. Better not drag the US into it. Let's hope not. I Hit Morning says, I don't do anything in my sleep. I wouldn't be awake. You sound like Mrs. Ping. I'll keep searching for a mainstream news because we should get something. Someone go live. I'm just having a look. There is a website that has multiple live cams up, but there's right now it doesn't look like there's anything going off, like no rockets and there's people like going to work and going about their day. I don't see any live missile strikes on that one right now. Yeah, let's go. Run. According to the Hindustan Times, there is video coming out here. There you go. You guys can see Press TV/Telegram, and you guys can see that where those photos came from. A lot of smoke in the sky. So not a lot coming out. It's just saying that they're hearing sirens going off. There you go. There's some more. That's from the Reuters? No, RT Telegram. They're saying they warn civilians to stay close to bomb shelters. Crazy. All right, let me try and go to our local news. BBC. Not good, guys. Not good. Anytime Iran and Israel attack each other, it's not a good thing. It's really bad. It's not just bad for the two countries, it's bad for everyone. They're saying Israeli media is reporting the country's military has launched preemptive strikes against Iran. Iranian state media is reporting explosions in the capital of Tehran. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, confirmed Israel is attacking Iran. The state of Israel launched a preemptive attack against Iran to remove threats to the state of Israel. Just before 8:15 in the morning local time, warning sirens sounded across Israel, warning Israelis to stay close to shelters in the event of any retaliation. Witnesses have reported blast strikes downtown in Tehran, Iran's capital, as thick smoke was seen rising into the sky. We saw those footage just before. The incident comes as tensions mount between Iran and the US over Tehran's nuclear program. There you go. Preemptive strike is the word they are using. I don't know what that means in diplomacy. Yeah, I don't know if that is like a warning shot, but there you go. Let's see. Australian website. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Jerusalem Post. We'll have a look. But that's there you go. That's one of them right there. All right, let's go. I'll go to the Jerusalem Post. Wow, because they've got the they have that what do they call it? They have the shield in Iran? I mean, in Israel? Don't they have that shield that allows them to defend against this type of thing. Yeah, I'm going to take you over to Twitter. They've got one here.
شنبه 9 اسفند سمت بیت رهبری.
And more smoke from probably a missile landing. There you go. Rising into the sky. Wow, imagine being that close where you actually are right under that cloud, like a smoke cloud. You would have felt that. Jeez. Pretty mental. Pretty mental. There you go. There's the photo at the end there. Some get through. Yeah, the dome. They actually have like 3 anti-missile systems, right? Like one's called, I can't remember what they're called, but they've each got different names. One is like a low one, then they've got like an intermediate one, and they've got a long range one as well. They've got multiple. Marlene said the New York Times is saying both US and Israel are attacking. Really? Both of them? That's I don't think that's great news. I don't think anyone wants that. Let's see. What are they saying here? They're saying that Israel has been warned to prepare for retaliatory strikes. I'm not seeing anything that confirms the US involvement. They're saying here 2 loud blasts were heard in Tehran. These type of explosions suggest it is a missile strike. Well, that's what it looks like too. It came as Iran accused the US of spreading big lies about its missiles program after Trump claimed Tehran was building weapons that could strike the US. There you go. Yeah, during his State of the Union speech, the US president said Iran had already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working on building missiles that will soon reach the US. There you go. Let me see. So no more updates since the last update about any sort of incoming missiles was about 9 minutes ago. I'm not seeing any more like new air raids going off. I don't know why they would have only sent 2 missiles. Normally when they do this, they send multiple in sort of volleys for it. Callie Cole says, great, there goes all the toilet paper. Not again. Not again. Chipmunk says, Trump sent chips and military. Yep, he sent a bunch of them. Chipmunk said, I'm going to go get myself ready and go Saturday morning you will not want to be at Walmart. Okay. Gayla said, is this him getting in while he can? Benjamin Netanyahu? I got no idea. Kim says, our Walmarts aren't open 24 hours. Well, there you go. You better run and get all the toilet paper, like Callie Girl said. Callie Girl seems to know something about the stock market for toilet paper. Apparently, here's a video here. Can we make that full screen? That's not how you do that. Nope. There you go. You're just going to have to watch it like that. Good work. Oh, and they pulled the site down? No? That's weird. That worked before. There we go. Let's see if it'll play. It's just showing the aftermath. There's still a lot of people like going about their day. It doesn't look like they're that disrupted from, doing their daily errands or whatever. They don't look like they're that put off right now. JDR said people around the world have already lost their trust in the US. That's a shame. We'll keep an eye on it. If anything else big happens, let me know and I'll put it back up. But right now it looks like it's maybe that was just it for now. I'm sure there'll be some sort of retaliatory strike at some point, but at least at the minute it doesn't look like it is going any further. Hold on. I want to talk about this thing that happened in the UK because it is really important. Let's go here. Yeah, so do you guys know who Ian Huntley is? Let's talk about Ian Huntley for a minute. They're saying that he was seriously injured in prison in a pool of blood after someone took a metal pole with a spike on it and beat him in prison. And I've seen some people say that he's dead, and then some people say he's just in hospital but is most likely going to die, but is not dead. I'm gonna try get you to an update. Give me a sec. Let's go here. Yeah. If it'll load. There we go.
Understands that Soa murderer Ian Huntley has been seriously assaulted in prison. It's understood he was taken to hospital after being found in a pool of blood at HMP Frankland in Durham following an attack by an unknown inmate. Huntley was convicted of the murders of 10-year-olds Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman in Surrey, Cambridgeshire, back in 2002, serving a life sentence with a minimum of 40 years. Let's bring in our correspondent, Sadia Chowdhury. Sadia, what more can you tell us?
Well, as you say, Huntley is serving a life sentence with a minimum of 40 years in HMP Frankland in County Durham. And we understand that he was attacked today by an unknown inmate. He's serving that prison sentence for the 2002 murders of 10-year-old Jessica Chapman and Holly Wells. He's now 52 years old, and according to some reports, this is the fourth time that he's been attacked. The Sun newspaper reporting a 2018 incident, a 2010 incident, and a 2005 incident, twice before attempts to slit his throat, they say. Huntley is said to be usually a very closely protected prisoner, but the Ministry of Justice has confirmed to Sky News that he was attacked by an unknown inmate. He was said to be found in a pool of blood on his prison wing with serious injuries. 2 air ambulances were dispatched, but he was taken to hospital by road. We know that police are investigating.
By the way, Gail is saying he's dead. My information says there's no direct confirmation from anyone that he's actually dead, and that the last update from the hospital is he is on life support and only has a 5% chance of survival. So that might be why some people saying he is dead, because the chances of him pulling through and actually making a recovery are about 0. But it's, from what I can find, he's still in hospital, and that there is no one confirming, no one from a mainstream news confirming that he actually died. They're saying that he is alive, at least for the moment. BBC and Sky News report that he remains in a serious condition in hospital under armed guard. However, some social media reports and local outlets have claimed he has died from his injuries. But this is coming from Facebook. I can't find anyone from a major news outlet claiming that he is dead. The only people I see claiming he is dead are Facebook people. There is no one that I can find that will verify it. That is from a journalist from like major news or something like that. Can't find anyone, but there are some people on social media claiming that they seem to know someone who works at the hospital or the prison, and that it is claimed that he has died in hospital. But look, I don't think anyone cares. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's true. But this guy is the biggest piece of shit. I don't think anyone cares whether he lives, dies, or turns into an octopus and floats away. He is a horrible human being. And what he did to those two girls is horrific and frightening. The fact that he would do that, their last moments on this earth must have been terrifying. And the fact that his last moments on this earth might have been terrifying by a larger individual with a weapon that may have beaten him and taken his life. Sort of ironic that that is how his life may have ended, because that's what he did to those little girls. Um, you know, those little girls did not deserve what happened to them at all, and they were just doing what they thought was sort of the trust adults, trust people who are in a position of power, and that's what they did, and he abused that trust and treated them the word I want to use I can't use on YouTube, but yeah, very, very disgusting human being. Those little girls, there's been a lot of little documentaries on them, and here's a photo of them. They would have been grown women by now. If they were alive, they would have been grown ladies, and they never got to get there ever because of what he did to them. And I don't think anyone's upset that he's been bashed in prison. Their names were Holly Marie Wells and Jessica Amy Chapman, and they were they went to the school where he was a school caretaker, and he lived in the local area too. Um, it's said that he murdered them via asphyxiation and dumped their bodies in an irrigation ditch close close to RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk. And they're saying the bodies were discovered on the 17th of August 2002. They had originally gone missing on the 4th of August 2002. So it took them about 2 weeks, just shy of 2 weeks, to find their bodies. Yeah. Best friends for life, that's right. And the fact he survived so long in jail is probably a miracle on its own, because he has been targeted in prison multiple times over the years. So did it? They do that sometimes. Let's see. I might have something about what his mum said. Hold on. His mum said, "Part of me hopes he dies this time." So there you go. Even his own mum doesn't really care if he lives or dies. She's quite content if this is it, because she must be tormented as well. It would have changed her life as well. The fact that everyone knows it was her son that did that to those two girls. She would have been forever labeled, as a child killer's mother. And yeah, she said, "Part of me hopes he dies this time," and she says he has been left battered beyond recognition. So she's seen him in hospital. Yeah, there you go. She told friends she just wants to be free of it. She also told she knows flags will fly high if he dies, but that she is still his mother. Wow. Well, there you go. Apparently, his injuries include a broken jaw, massive brain injuries, and skull fractures, and that he's only breathing with the help of a ventilator and remains on life support in hospital. So yeah, most likely he will die if he hasn't already. He will die shortly. Yes, I remember that. He started talking to the media and the cops, and yes. Warner still said people would blame her. It's not her fault. He was an adult. Right, that is true. Cherie said, do you remember the case in Australia where the school caretaker killed the teacher? I think her name was Stephanie. A school caretaker. I don't know that one. Stephanie Scott? I don't know it very well. But yeah, Leeton school teacher Stephanie Scott was brutally murdered just days after she was to be married in 2015. And who killed her? Oh, who was it? There was a cheer shock. I'm just trying to find out who was her murderer. Was her partner? Is that who it was? Yeah. I'm just trying to find out. All right. Let me try and find out. I don't know this particular case. Vincent Stanford, a 24-year-old school cleaner who was not rostered to work that day but had seen her at the school earlier. He admitted to dragging Stephanie into a storeroom where he brutally assaulted, R-worded, and murdered her. He later told police he felt a sudden emotionless urge to kill her. Wow, that is horrific. And it sounds like no, so it wasn't her partner, it was just some random guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to name her partner. Yeah, I will look into it more. Yeah, I didn't know this one. We've done a lot of young females who have been hurt by other people. I'm just going to check out Sky News. I want to see if they've got an update. So no real updates about what's going on in Iran, but they are saying US participating in Israeli strikes against Iran. So that is the last update. Like the New York Times were reporting before, I'm not seeing any real good updates though. Basically that it has happened and that's basically it. No real good new updates, unfortunately. That is it. I'm sure if there's more updates, we'll find out at some point. All right, let's get out of here for the night. We've already been on for several or a couple of hours. All right, let's get out of here. All right. Hey, I want to thank my friend Nick. Nick, thank you so much for the donation last night. I appreciate it. It is very kind of you. Yes, I will see you guys tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow for Saturday night. I have no family function tomorrow for the first time in what feels like months. So we will have a Saturday night together tomorrow. Yes. All right. Hey, have fun out there. Get some sleep. Have a great Saturday. And I will be back tomorrow night for you. Yes, you are welcome, Cherie. All right. Good night. Have fun. Bye.